The Vilnius Bastion once stood as a testament to the power and innovation that the Grand Duchy of Lithuania once had. It was a national identity and a great piece of the history of these people that was once forgotten during occupations and conquerings. I'm standing here atop the Vilnius Artillery Bastion, which was completed in 1522. Over here, you can see me overlooking Vilnius. Before the walls and the bastion were completed, Gediminas Tower was the only fortification that Vilnius had. In the 16th century, gunpowder weapons were being popularized and warfare was changing. Warfare was getting much more aggressive, and so Vilnius and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania needed to adapt accordingly.
So the Vilnius Bastion, from its creation until the end of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in 1795, was essentially always in use. In the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, there was always a sense of urgency. There was always a need for defense. There was always a need of manpower. There was always a need of military hardware. If it wasn't the Russians attacking Vilnius, it was the Swedes. And in the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries, Vilnius was almost constantly in a state of war with primarily the Swedes and the Russians.
So this is a map of Vilnius 1581. You could see the defensive line of the city. In the latter half of the 16th century and 17th century, obviously the city would keep expanding, but when it was constructed with its gates, the wall was meant to cover the whole city, and the actual defensive system is 2.5 kilometers, and at one point there was 11 gates, such as the Gate of Dawn, and a variety of other gates that you could see entry points to the city, and they all led to, of course, important parts of the Grand Duchy. Some leading to Warsaw or Medlinka, which was, then leading to Belarus. Yes.
This defensive system, this bastion, was destroyed in the 1650s with a war with Russia. The bastion was created oriented to the north of the city, and from the north or from the northeast is where Lithuania's primary foes would be coming from, whether it be the Russians, whether it be the Swedes. And there's overlooking the old town, and you have Gedimino Pilis, and you have the wall system over here that would go for around a mile and a half of the old town, or it would encapsulate the whole city as it was in the 16th century.
This bastion and the walls were finished in 1522, and the reason that they were different from other medieval built walls is that the walls of Vilnius were catered specifically towards artillery. Lithuania and Central Eastern Europe as a whole were on the forefront of military innovation. This bastion was designed specifically for new warfare, revolving around gunpowder. In fact, the first ever military treatise on artillery was written by Kazimieras Simonovičius. This bastion once stood as a testament to the power and innovation of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. The bastion and walls of Vilnius took a lot of damage in their many wars with Muscovy and later Russia. After the final partition of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth at the end of the 18th century, the Russian government tore down the walls and the bastion, tearing down a lot of the city's defense. And yet, it still served its purpose as it was cannibalized. And in a lot of the buildings that we see around us, bricks and stones from the original walls and bastion are still in buildings today.
And now, I'd like to consider its purpose now today. I mentioned how after the 1650s, this bastion was, in a state of disrepair. It was destroyed, and it was actually turned into a dump. And from that, it would stay a dump for a long time, a century at least. And only after that, it was parts of the building was cannibalized, parts of it was turned into a homeless shelter. And only recently, in the past half century, was it rebuilt, restored, and now it is being used as a museum. And as a museum, it is supposed to reconnect Lithuanians and people visiting Lithuania to a kind of disconnected past. After After the destruction of this bastion, Lithuania would soon fall into the hands of the Russian Empire. There would be 3 partitions of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania ultimately in 1795 was completely absorbed into the Russian Empire. And so from 1795 up until 1987, essentially, this part of Lithuanian history and the importance of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and its military might was completely forgotten or stifled by especially the Russian Empire. Russian authorities did not want Lithuanians to know their past, their history of military successes, and their history of being able to fend off so many aggressors for hundreds of years. And now this bastion serves as a museum to connect Lithuanians to a national memory.